Summary of our today's movie Madagascar 3 Parts 1 and 2 and 3 begins our story. This adventure begins in the jungle where we are introduced to Marty the zebra chased by Alex the lion. This was all a dream since they both lived in the Central Park Zoo where the zebra was fed up with the routine. I wanted to leave New York with Gloria the hippopotamus and Melman the giraffe on the other hand. Alex adored the people who visited them since he was the king of New York, the main attraction, and although the others were not doing badly, just like the penguins who wanted to escape something that Marty liked since they were going to the jungle. Hearing this at his birthday party, the zebra told his friends that he wanted to go to the jungle to be free, seeing him as a lunatic, but to make him feel better, singing him a song where Marty asked Alex to come with him, so Lion laughed at him. Then in the morning the zebra disappeared his friends, but Marty was happy walking down New York Avenue while his friends escaped from the zoo looking for the zebra, taking the subway, scaring people. Fist, who arrived at the Great Central, reconnecting with Marty, scolding him for scaring him away, and suddenly the police arrived next to the penguins, surrounding them all, shooting tranquilizers. Basically they doped them that when they woke up they were in boxes since they were going to take them to their natural habitat, to a reserve in Africa. Just like the penguins who escaped entered the pilot's base and took control while Alex and Marty kept fighting. The thing is that the penguins changed their route where the animal containers to the sea, separating them, making the lion very sad when suddenly he came to a jungle beach going crazy. But at dawn Melman and the glory box were found in his madhouse and Marty came surfing with dolphins, happy to be free, but the lion wanted to kill them for everything he caused, thinking they were in San Diego, holding back when suddenly they heard something. It was music that came from the center, so they went straight into the dangerous jungle. The fact is that they came to a huge tree thinking they would meet humans, but it was not a mega pachanga of pure lemurs where their king was called Julian, panicking since the fossa arrived. But when they saw the lion they were scared. With this the lemurs saw them as savages, and to prove it they threw Marty at them, who when seeing the lion began to cry, so Gloria treated him like a baby. Seeing this, King Julian and his subjects received him, thanking them for scaring away the fosses, scaring them when they saw that they had human corpses, freaking out knowing it wasn't the nature reserve. On the other hand, the penguins reached Antarctica. While they, at least the giraffe, was left for dead. Alex didn't want to be with the zebra because of him they were lost, but Marty didn't care. Time passed and they did something to ask for help. Lighting fire, taking it all, losing hope, going back to the lemurs. They wanted to stay with the New York Giants since they were going to protect him from the pits, but Morris didn't trust them at least in Alex, since he saw him as a predator, something that the king clearly ignored. Coming back with the 4, Marty tried to cheer up the lion, who apologized to the zebra, and so he tried to have a good time, and seeing the stars they felt free. Unfortunately Lion began to hallucinate since he was hungry, he wanted meat. On the other hand, we see the penguins in Antarctica when at dawn the friends found themselves surrounded by lemurs. He was kidnapped. Welcoming you to Madagascar, such a beautiful place. That Lion finally felt free, but very tired since he had gone days without eating, going crazy, so he saw everyone as a delicious steak. He was going wild, but by letting him see, he not only scared the fosses but all, since he began to see them like crazy, giving him the pomp to Marty. Seeing this, Morris made them see that Lion was a predator, that he was going to eat them all, who really couldn't control himself anymore and chased them. He was going straight for Marty, but Maurice knocked him out with a coconut. With this, Alex felt like a monster for everything he did to his friends, leaving with the fosses, sheltering like a predator, which Marty felt so guilty about, but Gloria cheered him up, telling him that they were New Yorkers and could do anything. Peel on a ship came. It was the penguins colliding with the giraffe. The fact is that they were happy with their destiny, but they were going to help them with Alex's problem, creating a plan. But Marty went ahead and went after the lion, who was now wilder than ever, and he didn't want to hurt her by scaring the zebra away, but she wouldn't leave without him singing her a song, but that only attracted the pits, putting himself in danger. But Melman came and saved him, running from terror where the penguins took care of them. Then Alex showed up
just in time to chase away the carnivores, and when you arrive with the zebra he told her to humor him, and so they deceived the pits who ran away. After this the friends were very close, and the penguins gave Alex fish, taking away his hunger and eating how it was meat. He was very happy, him becoming a lover of sushi, and so everyone celebrated, where King Julian thanked him for taking care of them, and then they took the boat, which had no gasoline, so the penguins would stay in order.
Then we see a flashback from when Alex was little, to whom his father taught him to be an alpha, but Alex was more of an artist. What Makunga wanted to be the next alpha, challenging the great lion, where suddenly Alakai followed a rope carrying with some hunters who took the little boy. Unfortunately his dad couldn't do anything to stop them, where the cub was lost in the waters that took him straight to the sea, to a new life in American New York Zoo, where he became the famous Alex the Lion, the king of the city, which recently escaped, and we return with him in Madagascar, hanging out where the penguins at last they fixed the plane and they were going to return home. At last they fixed the plane and they were going to return home, already taking King Julian and his cronies, and so they took off. Storms crossed the sea, and while King Julian went like first class, the plane began to have problems. The engines stopped working and the glider stopped flying, falling without stopping, but the penguins could fix everything and managed to carefully lower, destroying the plane. The point is that everyone was safe, reaching the savannah of Africa, panicking everyone since they were clearly not in New York. But the penguins said they would fix it. That's why the four friends relaxed, and they were going to know what surrounded him and meeting people which could help them, but an old lady began to attack the lion. That was a sign that they would not support them, and suddenly they found a lake full of animals. It looked like paradise. It was their natural habitat, his ancestral cradle, something that Alex felt familiar. It was a reserve from which the alpha came out challenging Alex, where his lioness realized it was her son, and seeing the birthmark she checked it was Eleke, something that everyone celebrated, making everyone happy except for Amakunga, furious that the prodigal son returned. While Marty, he found a group of zebras just like Melman, of giraffes, and Gloria to a bunch of hippos. They were at home, something that Alex loved since they treated him the same way as king. He no longer wanted to leave, and instead they saw Melman as the doctor of the pack, and Gloria met Motomoto, a fat and handsome hippo who clearly courted her. The thing is that Alex met Makunga had to be rituals to be able to be king, said this. The lion got excited. In short, the penguins hunted the tourists to be able to steal his jeep and thus have parts for the plane, leaving them stranded, where the old woman would lead the troops while Alex's parents showed him their old cave where she used to sleep as a puppy, creating a lot of nostalgia since he lost many years of his life away from home. But at last they were together. Then humans came to the savannah, meeting other tourists that the penguins raided, joining forces to survive in the jungle. At dawn Morty appeared, being attacked by a shark. The fact is that the penguins already had a workshop full of jeeps with which they could rebuild the plane, and with the help of hundreds and hundreds of monkeys, those savages could remake everything. On the other hand, Alex was preparing for the coming of age initiation along with other puppies, where Makunga put weeds in him that it was a dance contest. That's why Alex chose the biggest lion of all, and realizing it was a battle and not a dance, the lion was frightened since it hit him once, defeating him, something that discouraged his father since a king is never defeated. Then Makunga wanted me to exile him, so Klein decided to stop being the leader. Then Makunga took control and exiled poor Alec. With this his father was offended since his son was not a true lion, breaking her heart. On the other hand, Melman played doctor when the other giraffes they told him he had a disease and Walmart, and realized that he was not a special zebra since he had many copies equal to him. Everyone was discouraged except for Gloria since she had a date with Moto, so jealous of Melman, who fought with her, and it turns out that the zebra wasn't Marty, taking offense since they confused him with another. And even more than Alex just thought in himself, everyone was so depressed, and more Melman, who would tell Glory that he loved her, so Julian encouraged him to do it. And while she had her date with Motorcycle, who was very superficial and that bored the female, Melman arrived. She told Moto that he treated her like a queen, telling her all the good that she had. Glory unfortunately The pond dried up and Makunga had no solution, so Alex offered to save them all. So she went looking for Marty, and how she was going to leave the reservation she apologized to him, acknowledging that she made him special, his way of being, and that was enough. Said this, they went together to the jungle. On the other hand, King Julian put it into their heads that if they sacrificed something for the water gods in a volcano, they would return the water to them, encouraging them. And how Melman felt dying, he volunteered, and so all the animals took him to the volcano, where he told Gloria that she was already keeping him alive, declaring his mood, while Makunga was a gossip with upload saying that the lake dried up and that Alec and left the reservation. That's why the great lion went out in search of him. Where young Alex and the zebra met the water again, where the tourists were attacking them, where Alex got caught. Instead, the giraffe was going to be thrown into the volcano, and Gloria, she was going to stop him, but when he stumbled, she almost threw him and saved him, telling him that she loved him too. Then Marty came, telling them that Alex needed them, so they went with the penguins, where the monkeys repaired the plane. And while they were going to kill the lion, his father arrived, and with a dance Alex let them see he was Alex the lion from New York. With this, the tourists recognized him, and as a pylon his friends arrived, they turned the plane around, destroying the river dam where the water finally flowed. And at the same time, Morty came and threw the shark into the volcano. How the water reached the savannah, everyone thought it was because of the sacrifice, but since they saw the lions, they knew it was them. Then Makunga wanted to banish them, but the karma is great since the old lady attacked him, giving her what she deserved, and so Klein took back control with his son, the king of New York. Skipper got married, and that's how they left, while the four animals stayed in Africa, where time passed and Alex went crazy. The penguins haven't arrived yet to take them to their precious city that they missed so much, something that was very bad, so they would go for the penguins. They were in Europe, which were in Monte Carlo, going crazy with his money, and by the sea the four animals came straight to the casino, infiltrating through the ducts, meeting the monkeys dressed as the king of Versailles. Then the animals, they were going to catch them, and how Glory walked, others fell onto the road, creating a disturbance. So the security animal control, where Captain DuBois got excited since she had never caught a lion, who fled with the others, where the penguins saved them with a van, destroying everything they touched. And when the captain arrived, she tracked them with her scent, reaching them, shooting Julian, so they had to drive like New Yorkers, out of control, creating chaos in the streets. But the captain did not give up, catching up with them by getting into the van. So the penguins brought out a nuclear reactor, and so they managed to escape, and the monkeys came with a plane. When the captain somehow reached them, then they started throwing bananas at him as they climbed the fugitives, but the woman hung herself on Melman, so Alex from her dropped her from her, freeing herself from her, and so they went to New York. But the plane was badly damaged and crashed again, and it wasn't in America, worrying them all since there was no remedy, and the police arrived as a pylon, so they ran away, finding a circus wagon where a tiger did not want to help them. Why Alex lied, telling them that they were also from a circus but from America. Said this, they let them go up, and so the police did not find them, where Alex told him that he was a star and that he jumped on a trapeze, saying this they were invited to their next show in Rome, and that there they would find a promoter who came from America, that he would take them there. Having said this, they wanted to go with them, but the tiger Vitali did not want that. Lucky for you, the penguins bought the circus, and so they could go with them. I love those penguins. While Julian met a pretty scary bear, but then he fell in love with her. She had a tutu and rode a tricycle. On the other hand, the capital managed to rediscover its trail, and she was very close to them, seeing that they went to Rome, where they gave a show at the Colosseum, where everyone was. They were very excited. However, Julian ran away with the bear, and how he broke his tricycle, a Ducati was stolen. Then Alex flirted with the jaguar, who told him not to put the circus, if not he would see them with her anyway. The captain arrived in Rome, breaking the laws of Italy, where the circus gave its show, which was a disaster, so people booed him. It was horrible. His circus was a bust and people wanted a refund. Then they ran away, returning the money, while the captain escaped from jail, finding information that Alex the lion came from New York, who was on his way to London. Then the sea lion, she told Alex about the circus story that before were very good, the best in all of Europe, where Vitali was the star, was a sensation. Unfortunately, in one of his presentations he set Fire to a hoop where the tiger was burned, just like the fame of his show, his way of being, his fur, and the illusion of him becoming grumpy and broken. That's why he asked Alex to help them revive him too. Revive the circus, saying this. Leon thought of something and thus surprised the American promoter, but that offended the circus, so the lion told him they needed a passion, that if they did it together everything was possible, and so everyone signed up, even those from New York would participate. On the other hand, the inspector went for her team. While the animals planned their acts, Marty's gift loved flying, saving sea lion. Everyone was so inspired, even Melman and Gloria had their act. Unfortunately, the penguins saw the inspector. They had to advance the show. The point is that they were installed, keeping an eye on the American promoter, where Alex talked to the tiger, encouraging him to do his show, and so he did, giving him back hope and the desire to put on a great show, where just like everyone did their number, each one in their style, something very different from the ordinary circuses, and the promoter loved it, ensuring your trip to America. And Pilon, the captain, arrived catching the lion, but the penguins, they did not allow it, and they got rid of it in their own way. For your bad luck, those of the circus found out that they came from a zoo, feeling cheated, betrayed, losing their trust. They finally arrived in New York, where the circus settled, afraid that it would not be the same as the previous one, that the four animals, they returned to the zoo, which they saw smaller and boring, where Marty was told that his idea of leaving the zoo, it was the best thing that happened to them, that opened their eyes, met the world, the thrill of escaping. That's why they were going to come back and support the circus, but to their bad luck they put him to sleep. She was the inspector, but the ones from the zoo arrived just in time. While Julian went with his bear, apologizing for everything, telling the penguins what happened to your friends who were locked in cages so that he would never escape, where the captain wanted to kill Alex when the circus came to save them, giving a show directed by Skipper, and so they rescued the animals, his deserved, to the inspector who caught Stefan, so Lion went to save him, facing her, locking him in the lion cell, feeling like the king of New York again, who now officially joined the circus with his friends, mixing wild domestic life with that of the circus, all thanks to that escapade in Madagascar. And here ends our story. Don't forget to join and subscribe to the channel. Synopsis: a movie in minutes. Thanks for watching the video.